Good afternoon, friends. Stephen and Yana Benoon with Israeli News Live, and we have Andrea with us. She is Hungarian, but all the way in Britain right now, if I believe. Are you in Hungary, or are you actually in London?
I am actually in Hungary now.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yes, in Hungary.
Well, it's so glad to have you on with us, and I'm gonna let my wife kind of maneuver this interview here, and I'm just going to join in as we go along. So, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for
Thank-
joining, Andrea. I think your name is Andrea. Andrea Erde.
Yes,
Okay, and this is part of a series of coming out of Zionism, and we welcome you on our platform today. Um, and all of you who are listening, Andrea is going to talk about her own journey from being a very much pro-Zionist, pro-Israel, and
yes,
what made her to see that this is just not true Christianity. This is not how Christians should be applying prophecies. And she is originally Hungarian lady who did some work in London, so she speaks perfect English actually. And anyway, I just want to ask her something in Hungarian.
yes.
Hogy vagy, Andrea, or hogy tetszik lenni?
Hogy vagy? Ez nagyon jó, nagyon szépen köszönöm, jól vagyok. Hogy vagy, Jana?
Én nagyon jó vagyok, nagyon szépen köszönöm. So that was lovely. What's that?
Yeah, we could speak Hungarian.
Yes, I didn't speak for a long years. My father was Hungarian originally.
All right, okay.
Yes, so my mom and dad spoke Hungarian a lot.
Yes.
Even though I grew up in country of former Czechoslovakia, but they spoke Hungarian among themselves, so I picked it up, and then of course we watched Hungarian television a lot, so I can understand almost everything I hear to speak because I didn't speak for about 29 years.
Wow.
Since I'm in the United States, I didn't really have a chance to speak, but if I had to, it would be a good practice for me, Andrea.
Yes, but you still remember some really good words. And your pronunciation is good.
Köszönöm,
Good.
nagyon szépen köszönöm. Okay,
Oh, wow.
well, let's get down to business. So we are having a series on Israeli News Live about coming out of Zionism, and you wrote me a very kind email. Thank you for that. So we welcome you again, and please tell us something about yourself. How was your past in Christianity? What did you believe? What church you went to?
Yes. So basically, my background is Catholic. Mostly Hungary is Catholic.
Yes.
But it's my family. But I never practiced. So later on, I was searching for the truth, and I find it on the street, evangelism, and I turned to Jesus. And then I joined the big church in Hungary. Immediately, they've been there also. And this church was actually already a Zionist church with these teachings to support Israel and all the prophecies and everything. So I went in like, like a baby. You don't know anything about anything, and I had no idea. It's no good. It's not right.
Right.
So I was there for 9 years. I was serving there and be there and grow there in the Lord. And there are lots of good things also happened, but it was a Zionist church, I have to say. And then I moved to London. It was in 2000. And then in London, I also find a place where I could go. But it wasn't so much Zionist. It was really strong teachings. Maybe you know Kensington Church, Kensington Temple, you know. And I was serving there and preaching on the street, and that was really good. And I like these kind of things, and not really things on Israel. But in my heart, because from the beginning I was in a place where I got this teaching, it stayed in my heart, and I always thought that this is the right way. And maybe I found some people who supported Israel the way like me did, but mostly not. So it wasn't really like that. And then, of course, I was living in London. I was going to this church, and this is my background for my faith, basically. Shortly, I was telling this. So now, I don't know, do you want to know? Because from London, I went to the IDF, or how I went there, or you want me to talk more on these kind of things?
Well, no, we would like to know, like, so you basically were educated in what we call Schofield theology, which I'm very surprised it found its way to evangelical church in Hungary. I wasn't even aware that Eastern Europe has churches like that, honestly. I thought it's Catholic and Protestant. What I know from my own background, that people were Catholic or Protestant and they were against each other. You know, there was kind of like a war and hatred between these two groups in there. But I wasn't aware that the Protestant side was creeping in Western Schofield theology. So that's actually a surprise to me, you being Hungarian and learned it in Hungary, to believe that way. So, but tell us maybe about the moment. What made you think otherwise? What made you change?
Well, I would say, first of all, I didn't know it's a Schofield teaching.
Right.
Because I just got the teaching. They've been just preaching this, that how important is Israel and supporting the Jewish people because they are the chosen, and that this 7 years period and how it's going to be, and you know all the rest. So that's what I got in Hungary. And then the pastor, I don't want to say maybe the name of the church, but the pastor is a big supporter of Israel, been many times, and even got from Netanyahu, he's got something for support of Israel, like a medal, or I don't know, something. So they keep good relationship. And one of my friend, actually, my friend's husband in Hungary, he's been the director of the European lobby for Israel. They've been lobbying politically for Israel. And he was the director of it, and I was all in the middle of it, and thank God I didn't go into any position or nothing. So I did to know is not good, but in those days I was so proud, like, yes, we are doing this, and yes, we can do this, and what a privilege that he can do this work. So that was my way of thinking.
Yes. So what was the moment? So you say you were in London when something changed from within you. So what was it? What made you doubt?
No, it was not in London.
No? Okay.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, so tell us. Where did that happen? What made you think?
No, not yet. And then in 2000, I decided I go to abroad, and thank God I did, because I had a bit of loose about all these things. Other things also, what's going on there. So I was happy that I could go abroad, and I left. And I wanted to learn a very good standard of English and educate myself. And that's what I studied also and did my profession. I mentioned to you as interior architecture. And I trained as an architect, interior architect, although I'm not doing at the moment. but I achieved what I wanted. I did Bible school also. And in the midst of it, when I wanted to do, I will come to the point, but I have to tell you first how I got called to Israel, because actually it started in Israel.
Oh.
When I started to question things. So I have to act this way, if it's okay.
Sure. Same for us, by the way. It started in Israel.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I don't want to forget. It's we had a conference back in 1996 with the Hungarian church. We went to Israel and we had a big conference. We don't forget you, Jerusalem. And after I realized, as a support for the Jewish people and everything, and after I just realized that was also like a Zionist conference. But that's just happening all nowadays. I realize things. Anyway, I was in London, and then how I've been called to IDF. It was 2011 already, so 11 years after I was in London. Until then, I was working, studying, traveling, whatever. And I was planning my business. I wanted to do my business. I had no plan to serve in Israel or go to Israel. And then it happened on Facebook that one of my friends was doing this volunteering to the IDF through Sarel. Probably you know this organization.
Yes,
Sarel.
Yes.
Yes. So I have to say that I was not a soldier. I was a volunteer. So it's a big difference.
Yes.
Just
Right, because they do not let people abroad actually participate. They normally just let you help clean the equipment, things like that. That's that's what you do to volunteer, or serving soldiers, things like that. They never let you be active in anything militarily at all.
No, you have to be trained, and I understand. I mean, they don't give you a weapon into your hand. I mean,
right.
So on Facebook, one of my friends was doing this program, and then people started to mentioning to me that, oh, it will suit you. That why are you not doing this? And I was looking at this, and I said, no, I have a different plan. I'm not going to do this. What is this? What to do there?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is so uncomfortable there. How do they sleep? And all these bunk beds, and everyone is snoring. No way, I am not going.
Yes.
This is definitely not for me. And that was my first impression. That was my feeling. But then more and more people started to suggest. And I was like, I can't believe this. Why are they telling me this? Okay. After I went to protest in London for Israel, and of course against the Palestinians, they came out with the Palestinian flag, and we went with the Israeli flag, and it was a protest. And I posted a photo with the Israeli flag on my Facebook, and this photo, it's got the Hungarian representative of Sarel. He saw the photo. So every country basically has a representative that you can go through to get involved in this volunteering. And then he saw this photo, and then invited me to the program. And I was like, I can't believe it. And first I was saying to him like, oh, thank you very much for your invite, but I don't think so, it's for me. Okay, after a month, again, another invite. And I said something is here, I don't know. And then in between I had also a dream. So it was a very strong confirmation. And in my dream, I saw a seaside. It's very vivid. I can see now that which part was the sea and the place. And I thought I'm going on holiday, and I started to look for places that I said, I'm definitely God is sending on a holiday. That's what that it is. It's all happened in one go. It's all happened in weeks. I mean, in weeks, everything in weeks. It was in September, I think, September, October, this time, 2011. And then the second message, when I got the second message, then I thought that I'm going to talk about this to my friend, because I never told anyone. I thought it's crazy. I never told anyone. And I was talking with my friend, and then she said, well, you should go. If you don't like it, you come home. And I was like, wow, yeah, this is actually so simple. Well, yeah. And then, of course, I prayed to God. I prayed that, do you really want me to see there? So obviously I gave it to God. And after I decided, yes, I'm going, I contacted with this representative, and then he organized to me everything. And in 1 month, I found myself in Israel. In 1 month, I was like this, out of my business in London. I opened already a business account that I will do my stuff. And out of everything, I was in the IDF. And they told me, you crazy, what are you doing there, and this and that. So I started this 2011. And interestingly, it was a call from God. So I knew it was. I had so many confirmation and testimony, even on my way to the airport or on the flight. I met an elderly couple who already did this program. I was sitting next to a couple whose parents were sitting at the back, and they did the program. And we just started to talk. They've been just there. I mean, yeah, so it all happened. And I always knew when to go back. I always went back like a half year later, or how I could manage my time. So on and off, I was in Israel about 2 years. But it wasn't only IDF. I did other volunteering programs as well with a government organization with a volunteer visa. I stayed. So it was not just IDF. And then when I was in Israel, it was after a while, it started to, like, for example, when they say Israel is a democracy, and when I saw how people get treated, how they separate Jews and Arabs and Israel, or even the police is separating them. Or, for example, I had cases. I had Arabic friends. or Palestinians. I don't know how you call it, or which one is which really. But I was talking with them, and they said, we always get the trouble. We always, even if we don't do anything, they always stopping us, and this is always something. So I felt something is not right here. And then I had things like, for example, when I was with Christians, and they always wanted to pray for the Jewish people. And my standard was always like, or I always felt like, yes, but Jesus died for everyone. And
Amen. Amen.
Yes, Jesus equals everyone. Jesus loves everyone the same. And these prayer meetings were always like, oh, yes, God's people, bless them, and this and that. And at some point, I got so fed up, and I started to pray for the Arab people during this meeting. I said, And yes, and I am praying for the Arabic people and accepting the Lord and this. And they looked at me first, and maybe one or two followed me and started to pray for them also.
Amen. That's so nice.
Yeah, and for me it was like it's a kind of, I don't know how you call it, like segregation or discrimination, or superiority. Like why is it one higher than the other? Why? No. And I always went to Israel with the heart that I told the Lord that you come with me and you give me people who are hungry for you, and you open conversations for me. So I always went like this, and I always had people to talk to, because I gave it to the Lord, and I always had. It was Jewish, it was Arabic, it was all kind of people. I was talking all the time. And then, yeah, so this was a kind of strange for me, like why is a difference between the Arabic and the Jewish people if
Well, let me
Jesus died?
ask you this: your experience. Like, let's say we were in Jerusalem, right, and we were brainwashed just like everybody else that Arabs are terrorists and we are to be afraid of them. But on my daily life in Israel, I noticed that Arabic people owned, some businesses. They were extremely kind, very hospitable. I had actually very good time with them. They were much kinder to me than Israelis. Israelis were kind of really nasty sometimes.
Yeah, they could
And
be very rude.
they were rude. They had a very bad customer service. But every time we were with Arabs, they were just the kindest people. And my brain just couldn't understand, why are they called terrorists? But I just kind of pushed it away. Was that your experience as well?
Yes, I had similar experience. Yes, I had. Yes, exactly. Actually, I went also to church, and I found the Messianic church I liked, and I could connect to one place. I went to many places to see it, just to where to go or to connect people. And I've been visiting also congregations like Arabic background believers, Christians. And I never forget that I went to a small place I wanted to visit, and they've been so happy for me. They've been all over me. And they said, you can come anytime and come to our house.
Yes,
We invite
yes,
you.
that's the Arabic way. You're right.
Right, very hospitable.
Yeah. If you don't have a place to stay, you can stay with us. Even they say this. And I never experienced anything like this in any other church, I have to say. And I experienced this also. Now I try to think when I was, no, it was later on. First, I would say this. Once I was visiting in Nazareth, I went to a small cafe, and I sat down, very nice cafe. I loved it. And then I came out, and at the window I saw a book, and the book was about Palestine and Palestinian people. And I was so hesitating to buy this book and read it, and I was like, "What is it about? What is Palestinian? What is this?" I always hear Arabic in Israel, but they never say Palestinian. I never heard.
Wow.
I never heard from anyone to say Palestinian people in Israel, and only Arabic and Jewish and Druze and Christian, whatever, but not Palestinian. I never heard this. And I saw this book, and I was so thinking on this. I should buy this, I should read this. And I was like 50-50, but I didn't. But for months and months, I was thinking on this book, and I was thinking maybe I go back and buy it, and maybe it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, I didn't. But when I was walking around also in Nazareth, I saw some place with a fence, and they had drawings on the fence with Palestinian people, like evicted from their home or persecuted or even killed. Or it was not a nice drawing there. It was very painful to see, and I was thinking like, but what is this? What is this? You know, my mind was so messed up.
Confusion. You were confused. You just didn't know what to like, because the way we were told in churches, Zionist churches, you know, about them, and
majorly brainwashed is what it was, because I lived in Israel like you from 2004 to 2006, but it was off and on. I was back and forth a lot, and I went through a suicide bombing. But the thing that always bugged me was the fact that I couldn't understand why this young girl would blow herself up. You know, how could life be so horrible that you would do that? So it made me stop and question. And even though I was very Zionist, very blinded to this, and at one point I just absolutely could not stand the Palestinian people. But the more, because I had a friendly nature, so I would begin to meet them in Israel and befriend them, and then, you know, like you say, the hospitality of the Arabic people. I mean, I had friends that were Druze, friends that were Palestinians, and then of course Israelis, but even the Druze were always super kind. I had one group of friends of Druze that were very, very kind, but nothing like the Palestinians. Like you said, they would want you to come to their home. They would want to, and they really, one minister, and I won't call his name, but he got so afraid because his taxi driver was Palestinian, lived in Bethlehem, and invited him and his wife over for dinner to this home. And so he calls me and he says, "Steve, what should I do?" I said, "You need to go." I said, "It would be a humiliation for him that he's made this sacrifice to invite you and your family to come to his home and then you not go. That would be a very big insult for him." I said, "Go." And he did go.
And they treat you like queen and king. I mean, they give
Oh my gosh.
They give you this amazing food and just kindness, and I have never experienced it with Jewish people. That, you know, we experienced a lot of very rude people in hotel and the customer service, and they were just rude. And I always told Steve, why are Jews here, Israelis, so rude? Even when we went to post office, the hatred for Christians was so obvious, and we would still pray for them, and we would still extend kindness, we would still give them money and everything, but the Palestinians were so kind, and my brain just couldn't understand, why are they terrorists, you know? But anyway, when was your kind of like this decisive point that you decided, okay, I am wrong here, I'm going to look into this?
Well, I mentioned one thing also that was important when I was working to this government organization. It was, I did creative work with disabled people. And at the work, it was another testimony that's just built it up for me, like, something is not right. That I was working with Jewish people, Christians, and Palestinians, or Arabic. And be honest, I connected more to the Arabic people there. They were always very kind to me, as you say, the manner and everything. I could work better with them, and I could see also how people get treated and how they make a difference between people. within volunteers, we had Jewish guys also from US, and we have some other from Europe, like Christians. And even there, it was a distinction. They made a difference how they treated us.
Mm-hmm.
And other work, they had also treated the Palestinians differently than the Jewish.
So you basically found out that there was Israel is not a democracy as it claims to be, but there was an apartheid style of
No, they just say it. They just say it. And if there is any problem at work or a Palestinian wants something, there is always, they put the Jewish first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's always.
Mm-hmm.
It's always. It's like a supremacy.
Exactly.
Did you notice that in some areas, like we were at one point, we decided to go live there, and we were looking for apartments, and they actually told us in some areas they will not give apartments to the Palestinians. It was like exclusively Jewish, and we even had some. Because of being Christian, we felt like we were discriminated against as well. And this is what I noticed, that it was so, it's not a democracy. It's not like United States where everybody just has the same rights. It's very, very apartheid in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know,
there was only when the entire time that we were there, the 2 years I spent there earlier on, and then when me and Yana were married and we went there, and of course even when we lived in Europe, we were back and forth to Israel all the time.
Mm-hmm.
For over 4 years there, we were constantly in Israel. And the one thing though, that out of all that time, there was only 2 Israelis that ever showed real sincere kindness, and that was Gershon Solomon to our family, him and Zev, his good friend. And then there was a guy that owned a hotel, or he was the manager of a hotel in the old city. His name was Israel. And and he knew we were Christians, but he also, that's out of all this time there, they were the only 2 that ever really had a genuine love for you and embrace the fact that you're Christian and didn't discriminate against you. Otherwise, it's only the Arabic people that are there, the Palestinians or the Druze, or even I had a very close relationship to a lot of Africans down in Tel Aviv. That they were not Ethiopians. There was some country that was going through turmoil back years ago, and because of that, Israel they only allowed them to come in for basically for the slave labor. I hate to say it, but that's what it really comes down to. And then they went through this huge deportation process when I was there in around 2006. So, but they were very kind as well, but even the Ethiopian Jews that are there, they are always given the menial task. I remember when I was in the suicide bombing, a good friend of mine, he was a Jewish guy, he calls me up and he says, "Steve, I looked it up in the paper. I was sure of it." He said it was Ethiopian military that was there that died. He said they always did that to that bus stop. It was a hot spot for suicide bombers. He said, so they would put the Jews that they hated there, let them die, and only the Ashkenazis go to the primo places. Really sad the way it is. It's prejudice in every aspect of society you could ever imagine.
Right.
Yeah. So, yes, I agree. What came to my mind is maybe that's the point when it really started. I mean, I had lots of questions before, I told you already, and even within the Christians, like why is it, and why do you need to celebrate all the Jewish celebrations? Mm-hmm. Why do you have to even dress like a Jewish, these long dresses, and not even my style? And I said, I am not Jewish. I don't want to look like this. I don't want to scarf on my head. I don't want to run around with flags and things like that.
Right.
It's it's crazy. I never felt comfortable with this. I said, I want to be who I am, and I like my creativity. And I'm sorry, I felt religious, something religious in this. Was not normal. Mm-hmm. So that was also when I went to communities like this. So I didn't like to socialize really with them. Mm-hmm. And then I think that was already. So it slowly built up, like small things I noticed. And then it was already 2022, I think. I was after this, the big thing in the world. I went to Israel. They opened, mm-hmm. and I was volunteering there. And I went to a place in Yaffo. Was one of my favorite. Yaffo and Haifa, for some reason. I like these ancient places. And I went to a building, I went to a man to talk, a building. It was beautiful, like, it was Palestinian built. Mm-hmm. And me as an interior architect, I noticed, like, I like architecture and things like that. And I told him, wow, what a beautiful place you have. And this is like Arabic style, I told him. And he was Jewish, and he said, oh, well, long time ago, the Turkish people lived here. Turkish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then after it bothered me, and then I went home and I did some research on Jaffa and the Jaffa story. The Jaffa story, how the Palestinians were taken out and from the houses. They reduced the numbers. Mm-hmm. And then 1948, Israel got established, and way after, they kept the houses empty. And way after, the Jewish people could buy it from the government. And this is what happened also to this man. They were abroad, working abroad, I don't know, in Switzerland or Netherlands somewhere. And they came back to Israel, and they bought this house. So it's not just the house is taken from the Palestinians, not the Turkish people, it's the Palestinians. It's not just taken, but is sold. Mm-hmm. So they make business out of it.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
So that was like, ooh. So I felt such an injustice. I felt this. And after, I told you I was listening to your videos since about 2018. Because once I was volunteering in one place, it was a guest house with some other Christians, and one of the guy mentioned your videos, and since then I was listening quite a lot. And then it was a kind of maybe 2022 or something when Stephen mentioned, I think, that they even in the IDF they even do target practicing on mm-hmm. People, Palestinians, and I was like, wow, this is really bad. This is really bad, and that's what kind of stuck in my head. And the last time when I went with the army, but then I strongly questioned should I go or not. It was 2023 already, February. And then we went to a base where we had special forces and snipers, and we had evening meetings with them also, so they could talk. With the Madrijas, of course, the Madrijas were with us to look after us, and I had a very strong question, and I asked, "Do you like to shoot?" Like this, I asked, just like this, "Do you like to shoot?" And then the Madrijas, they looked, how can you ask a question like this? And one of the guys was happily saying, like, yes, I like shooting. And well, I didn't ask more or nothing, or I don't know what they should, but at that point I was like, there is something behind, and there is not just simple, taking out the enemy, let's say. And then that was February 2023. And I try to think the most important things, I trust what I have to say, I will say. So after I didn't go anymore because my circumstances didn't allow me to go. But 2023, 7th of October, the thing happened that Israel got attacked through Gaza. And I think God, somehow God slowly led me out in a kind of settled way from this whole thing. So it's like step by step, bit by bit, I realized things. And then I wasn't able to go back. I wasn't able to go back because my circumstances. And then when this happened the 7th of October, I started to do my research because one of my base where I was, it was at Gaza. They once sent me to Gaza, near, just at the border. So we were like a kilometer away. We could see Gaza City basically and working there. We prepared a mission. And they say this against terrorists and this and that. And oh my God, if I would know what I am helping, then anyway. So we've been listening there how special is the security. It's 24/7. They have drones. They have everything. And even if an animal is touching the fence, is already signaling. So they are there in seconds or minutes because they are there 24/7 watching. They had so many shelters there, like a meter wide walls inside metal on the base, like many shelters. And they had very, very strong security there. And when the 7th of October happened, then I was really questioning that how could this happen? How could they come through? How is it possible? Now that made me very suspicious because I've been in a base and I saw how is the security there. So it's not even a cat can touch the fence without seeing something is going on. And obviously it was already a preparation for this. So from Gaza, it was not from 1 second to another, they just came. It was already a preparation for this. And then I started to do my research, and I realized first it's an inside job. It was an inside job. I was listening some video also, and I think even Stephen was talking on this. And then I still didn't know what is Zionism. I wasn't completely aware of what is Zionism. My brain was so like you cannot think. You confused. I don't know. It's like you completely dark in your brain. And then I looked up Zionism. What is Zionism really? With Theodor Herzl, of course, and everything, and how it unfolded and how it came together with the Schofield teachings and how they played together a rule, how they established Israel, how was it the Balfour Declaration, how was UK, US, and now I understand why the West is supporting it. It's obviously understandable because it's the same imperialism. It's the same. They wanted to split the Middle East. It's all political and economical advantage. That's why they wanted to do it. It's nothing to do with any prophecy. It's for me is like I cannot accept where people get killed by the dozens is anything to do with Jesus.
Yes, and that's the main thing. It has nothing to do with Christ or God or love of God or nothing.
Well, you know, the other thing that's really nice with Andrea is the fact that she has been positioned close to Gaza. I actually used to live on a kibbutz that was very close to Gaza as well. But you're able to even share with us because you visited the military base. You know about the bunkers that they have that are impenetrable.
We stayed there. We stayed on that base. We've been helping on that base. Yes, it was just at the border. Yes, and I saw the other side. There are all terrorists, and they were all desperate people there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Try to fight for their life.
Yeah.
And then they showing the world how they get attacked and all the Jews and play the victims. All the time playing the victims. Playing the victims, manipulating with the Holocaust is all going on.
Yeah.
So I can. Yeah.
I want to ask you. So you basically realized it was like your heights of kind of full realization was the October 7th event, because you saw. I'm just kind of trying to summarize for people that you basically saw throughout years, you know, and then being in Gaza border, you saw how impenetrable it is, and then suddenly it was possible. So of course it was an inside job, and it was premeditated. The full thing was premeditated, pre-planned genocide, and you fully realized what's happening. It was shocking. I'm sure it was shocking as a Christian to realize this. And you did your full research on background, political background, of Balfour Declaration and everything. So you basically went through this awakening, and you fully realized the deception and the depth of deception. And when you said that you didn't even know what Zionism is, and this is so common because all of these evangelicals, if you tell them you're a Zionist, like we have a sister Brenda, for example, and her testimony, which I want to bring her back, but she says that all of these years that she was a Christian, evangelical Christian, and she supported Israel because that's what churches taught her to do. When somebody told her, you are a Zionist, she said, no, I'm not, because she didn't know what it is. So you just don't even realize as a Christian that you are in the midst of a major deception. You don't realize it. So it's so important to come together, and your testimony is so important because you will see a lot of people will sympathize with you and say, wow, I'm not alone. Like I was the same way. It's a literal awakening. So it's like, it's amazing. And go ahead.
I can recommend, or I wrote down here a few things. I was doing my research and I just want to read it through and recommend it to everyone who's open to do this.
Excellent.
First is Ilan Pape. You know Ilan Pape, what he's doing?
Yes.
I'm not going to talk too much on this. Gabor Mate, he's excellent. He's a trauma specialist, but also coming Jewish background, Holocaust. Grayson with Aaron Mate and Max Blumenthal. Aaron Mate is his son. They are doing a great job. Richard Medhurst.
That one, let me write that down.
Wow.
You always learn things. Write it down. Richard Medhurst?
Yeah, Richard Medhurst. Medhurst. I think Richard Medhurst.
Okay.
He's a journalist. He's a UK-based journalist. His family is, I think his father is from UK. His mother is Palestinian. But he's a well-known journalist, and he was arrested. He was arrested under terrorism.
Okay.
And
Is that the
demonetized.
young? He's young, right? Because I just
Yes,
probably
yes.
okay. I know who he is. It's just a new name. So many names I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Rabbis' names, journalists' names, so hard. But okay, UK has a very unique situation. It's absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
I just learned about it. They are arresting journalists, activists,
Yeah.
or anyone who will even speak anything in support of Palestine is arrested under Terrorism Act and harassed and imprisoned. This is unheard of. People don't even know this. It's not on the mainstream media. So we're going to have to address this, Steve.
Is that
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I know. We will.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. He got demonetized. He now until February. I liked his stuff, and now he's taking away his job. He explained, actually through him, I learned so much what's going on in that region, because he knows the political aspect and all of it. So I could clearly see. And he's also a Christian. He's
Okay.
also a Christian.
Yeah.
Will
So,
definitely.
yeah, but it's very different. What I realized is actually is very different than what I see the Western Christianity and Christians from the Middle East. Somehow in the Middle East, I feel they are more authentic and they don't have really Zionism, but the Western Christianity is the one, is with Zionism.
Mhm.
That's what I see. There is
Especially
so much-
USA.
that's very true. Very
Especially
true.
USA. Kufi.
That's what I realized.
Hmm.
Yes. So he's a really nice guy, and I miss him because he's just posting something that you can read, but he cannot post videos. And then there is one Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman.
Oh yeah.
He's
Amy Goodman.
quite good telling, the Gaza situation. And then of course it's through you was this beautiful lady, Elizabeth Glass.
Yes, Elizabeth Glass. She also came to realization kind of late, but she's a Jewish woman who definitely not Christian, but she's amazing Jewish lady who basically came to realization of what's going on because she was a political candidate. And then she just started to see what's going on, and she exposed it was a Dr. Zelenko asking for Noahide laws on every platform, and she's the one who exposed that. And of course, she's very good too. So go ahead. You have any more names? I'll add to them as well.
Yeah, because I want the people to hear, to look for this, because that's how they can learn. And I was listening through, this is 3 hours video, the Benjamin Friedman speech.
Yes.
It's a 1961 unedited version, and then I learned a lot from this. I was listening through this twice at least. Now, all the research, what I'm saying to you here now, I did like in 1 year, like after each other. So it took quite some time.
Right.
And then there is a beautiful lady also, Nurit Peled, Elena.
That's a sister of Miko Peled.
What's
Yes,
her first name?
it's a mother.
Yeah, sister of Miko Peled. What is her first name?
It's a mother. It's her mother.
Her mother.
Nurit.
Nurit.
Yes, it's her mother, Nurit Peled. She's working in education, and she was talking on Israeli education and Israeli school books and history, and how they tell about lies.
Her daughter was killed, I believe.
Yes.
And it was a surprise to everybody that she wasn't angry with the Palestinians, but she was instead angry with the. She blames the Israeli government for her daughter's death because the way they treat Palestinians.
Yes.
You know.
She's an amazing woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course her son Miko Peled, he very much speaks out. And then breaking the silence, IDF.
Eran Efrati. Here we go. We were trying to. Eran Efrati. Please look him up. And yes, breaking the silence. This morning at breakfast, we could not remember Eran Efrati name. And I was like so mad at myself. Like, I got to start writing things down because, my brain just doesn't work the same way it used to. But it is Eran Efrati. Please write that name down. If you can watch every video, he's a son of police chief of Jerusalem. He came to United States, to college campuses before the order by Trump in 2019. He did executive order for anti-Semitism on campuses, and campuses will not get funding from government if they speak about Israel. It's just they're trying to suppress the truth. But Eran Efrati used to come to United States and warn United States people that police in the United States is being trained in Israel by IDF with techniques that are used on Palestinians.
Yes.
And he said that what will happen is that those same techniques will be used on United States people. And so that's another name that you need to write down and find his videos.
Eran Efrati, I don't want to forget. I will tell you something about this. Just these few names here. Norman Finkelstein.
Yes.
If you know, he's a great guy.
Professor,
Yeah. Khazar conversions to Judaism. He's talking on this. I also I really like Candace Owen, if you know. Candace is a politician. He's an amazing woman, I mean. Oh my God, when she speaks.
She is definitely exposed. She's a Catholic, but she's exposing what's happening right now. So a lot of in common. For me, let's get together with common subjects. It's really a huge threat. So I agree.
She says I'm a Christian and I cannot accept thousands upon thousands innocent people die. Don't tell me. She's very much like this. Yeah. So and then is this is the one with Owen Jones. Owen Jones is a London journalist. He's also very good. And he was doing one video with Anthony Loewenstein. If you know Anthony Loewenstein from Australia, Jewish background. And he's the one talking on, there is one video called Terrifying Truth on why Palestine is a laboratory for humanity's future.
What was Anthony's last name?
Anthony Loewenstein.
Loewenstein, okay.
Loewenstein, Loewenstein, if I spell it right, but it will come up, I'm very sure. If you put together with Owen Jones, maybe, and this title.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, this is a freaking video, I mean.
Yes, that's very similar to what I'm saying about Eran Efrati. He came to say
exactly the same.
Yeah, he came to say the same thing, that they're using Palestine and open prison as a lab, as a training ground for what they're going to do to humanity in the future. And also they're trying on them in AI programs of spying on citizens, particularly one is called Blue Wolf technology.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's...
I heard.
Right. So this is what they try to unleash on all of us. But first, they're running all these programs on those Palestinian people. So it's really ironic that Christians of America, who would be against such things on them, are blindly supporting treatment of Palestinians while they're walking into a trap that's going to be used on them. And it's and of course some of them are doing it without knowledge, without realization, just like you did, like we did. It's just that it's time to really do a very heavy education program and not be quiet and start talking about this.
Yeah. This is why I also decided, because I don't like this public speech, or I don't want to be at the front usually. I don't like it. But now I decided I want to speak with you because you can reach so many, and I want to give my voice to this. And this is horrific.
And we're going to have you on
Yes,
more often.
yes.
We don't have to do long programs like this. People's attentions are so small today. They're bombarded with a lot of information. So
Yes.
we can have you on and we can go right into several more information, giving of information. So we're definitely going to be interviewing people, and you can be our guest, not just once, more often, whatever research or information you have. But do you have any other names that you recommend?
Yes, I can recommend a nice film to watch. Is one I love this, Five Broken Cameras.
Write that down.
5 broken cameras.
Broken Cameras. I think it's from West Bank, and how they fight for their freedom. It's amazing film. I was crying. I was crying.
Okay, yeah.
5 Broken Cameras, and then the other one is horrific. Is Tantura. Did you hear about that?
How do you spell that?
Tantura, Tautura. Tantura is about how the Jewish people basically killed a whole emptied the whole town and killed so many. Mm-hmm. And they are old now. They live there, and how they talk about it is horrific.
Is that a video?
These are like documentaries.
Documentaries, okay. Also, and I am just kind of rushing now because we have to check out our hotel room. But one more name I want to add, and if you have more, just let's give people the whole list. But one is a journalist called David Sheen. You can spell his name Sheen, David Sheen. He's giving an enormous lectures. They're well researched, and just go on his YouTube and watch everyone from the beginning. I mean, you're gonna get comprehensive education. And do you feel, Andrea, that right now this is the most important subject for all people to get familiar with because of danger of our freedoms and our way of life?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is...
Definitely, because it's against humanity what's going on. It's a genocide. It's no question. I mean, it's even a Holocaust.
And it's Palestinians now, but this is going to be happening. Realize that everybody's moving embassy to Jerusalem. They're trying to move an international court to Jerusalem fully. I mean, we have a Sanhedrin resurrected. It's still in background, but they're trying to make it strong and give it power. When that happens, and when they're going to move international court to Jerusalem and give power to Sanhedrin to make decisions over the humankind all over the world, we are in trouble.
Let me throw some things out there for you as well. When I looked up Owen Jones, every person he's following, I'm following as well. That was kind of funny just to see that.
On Twitter.
Yeah. One person, though, specifically, though, was Simone Zimmerman. She's a Jewish girl I just recently run across in an interview on Al Jazeera, who's she was a former IDF soldier, and she said when she came to America, she was there to help the universities to wake up that the Jews should be supported and the Palestinians are terrorists, and it totally changed her view when she met Palestinians. And she's become a major activist, so she's another really good one.
Can you give people the name again?
It's
So
let me spell it because it's kind of an unusual. Let me find her. Okay, Simone is Simone, and then Zimmerman is Zimmerman. But yeah, everybody he follows is because so many of these people are pro for the rights for the human rights of the Palestinians. Human Rights Solidarity is another very good one, UK based group there. We Are Not Numbers, it's another good one. There's just so many people there that.
yes. So we basically want people to start educating themselves from baby steps and
Yes.
warning that it's going to be difficult because when you are awakening, you have a cognitive dissonance, you're awakening from something that you perceived as reality and suddenly it's not a reality. Reality is totally different. So yeah, you're going to have some emotions with it, but what's important here is the truth.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to ask you because I hadn't got the pen. Now I have. I want to write it down. The name you mentioned, this Aaron.
Eran Efrati.
Yes.
That's from years ago. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. He was very powerful.
He's still posting because I follow him on Twitter, and I was just looking at because I had to look up Iran, and
It's called Eran. E-R-A-N. Eran Efrati.
Efrati, Iran Efrati.
Yes. So, I think we gave people pretty good beginning right now, and we can have Andrea more. You can be in touch with me. I don't know if you have a Twitter. You can look us up on Twitter. I have my own separate from Israeli News Live just because I'm not always with my husband. Like we have our, daily activities, and I have a certain group of people that just kind of always talk to me and try to get to sleep through me. So I'm like, okay, well, here I am for you. So I have my own private Twitter, Yana Sutova, and you can message me there. And if you are on X on Twitter, and then of course I always see private messages. And I respond quite quickly because it's right here, on my phone. So
I have some up, but I deleted some because I have enough of, I don't like too much. And I think Twitter I don't have, but I will find a way. And
okay. The thing is, I don't like either. Like you said, I don't like Facebook. I don't like Twitter. I don't like none of that. But right now, I have no choice because we got to put a voice out there, and I don't know how else to do it.
Yes,
so I'm kind of coming out of my comfort zone and trying to just do it for that very reason. But I understand what you say.
Yes, and then another thing I just want to mention is it's not a name anymore. I don't want to give more. Is quite enough. Like this last one I mentioned, Anthony Lowenstein. The danger of it is, and the way how they do it is very disturbing because there is this book, A Startup Nation. I was reading that book. Startup Nation is about Israel. I was reading that right in the beginning when I started to go to Israel, and but how they do it is they practicing on Palestinians, and that's the laboratory and the products what they get out of it. That's what they sell to the world.
Yes, and it's also
this is the most disturbing, and then they sell it, give it, and then they can use it abroad also, as you mentioned.
They also practice new bombs, new weapons, new drones, new ways of...
There was somebody we used to listen to that really does... Eran Efrati, okay.
He was Eran Efrati. He was the one who basically blew my mind. I did not know it at the time. It was a few years back when I listened and really re-listened to his interviews. I had internal war within me. And a major regret of years of going to Israel and supporting, this side. And I regret was so major. It was to the point of depression and asking God for
Yes.
forgiveness, you know. Yes.
Yes.
Because as a Christian follower of Christ, I
Yes.
know he would never support anything even close.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
say today, to say that you are a Christian and you support this is
Yes.
just, that's, you're not a Christian. You just don't know you're not. And whatever we have to do to wake up these people, that's very, very important for our own survival and our children.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it's very difficult, I have to say, if someone is a hardcore Zionist, and I was totally brainwashed, for example. I never thought that I am wrong.
Right.
Just when I started to do my research, and it takes so much time, then the brain is realizing how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not immediately.
Mm-mm.
It's not immediately after you watch 1 or 2 videos. It takes time. For me, it took 1 year constant research, and I am still going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I still struggle, as you said, like depression, anger, all kind of things. And I have friends also who are still in this. Some of them is really hardcore. Some of them we are not keep in touch because I've been told an anti-Semite when I told my opinion.
Right.
So I said them, what's the point? Probably you never knew me. You never knew me. Or why did you
Right.
like me? Because we had the same opinion. If you are a friend with someone, it must be a discussion, at least listening to each other. And I had close people to me. In a friendship, I think you should listen even if you disagree. It's okay to disagree, but at least give a respect and listen. No, I've been told immediately an anti-Semite and this and that, and he's a traitor and that is a traitor and this. I say, well, probably you never knew me.
You know,
Because
that's
don't
funny
want-
you
Yeah.
say that, and I will say Steve witnessed it. We just the other day before yesterday, we had a sister text to me. She was on one of our programs, and she said, "Can you call me right away?" And that's very difficult in our ministry to have a request to call someone right away because so many people we have to attend to. But I will tell you one thing. I just spirit within me was like, okay, no matter what, I'm busy. I don't have time, but I am gonna call her. It looks very, very bad, and she was in tears. She got attacked from her best friends, called
Yes.
anti-Semite and satanic, only because she's trying to stand up for Palestinians and against the genocide. And so this is expected. We need to be
Yes.
very strong, and you need to know you are not alone. You're not alone. And you will be losing some relationships that you thought you had. And we have to be strong. What's more important? Values,
Yeah.
truth, Christ, Christian values, or
Exactly.
or your friends. So
Yes, exactly. We never can choose people, that's for sure. It's only Christ. People
Yes.
come and go.
Right.
It's impossible. No. And they have different stages, what I experienced, like stages or levels, I'd rather say. They have different levels in Zionism. Someone is really hardcore and is harshly attacking you when you speak. Some is not so much, it's a kind of lukewarm, or some is just doesn't say much and
Right.
goes away. So it depends on the person. But I have a group of people, they are from Norway actually, I've been there. And even there, I have to say, they already started to watch teachings from rabbis. And my stomach turned and I said,
Yeah.
and they celebrating every time, Shabbat, and every Jewish celebrations, because these are the celebrations of the Lord. We have to do this. And then she put on this rabbi teaching to me. And I said, I don't want to watch this. I am not interested in this. I believe in Christ, I told. And she's
Amen.
like, look, but the rabbi says this is sin. And I just felt my stomach is like, oh, I can't stay.
See, Andrea, it starts that way. It starts with Sabbath, and they show it to you in your own Bible and all of that, but they forget about the new covenant. New covenant.
Exactly.
So, and we need to put emphasis on a new covenant. Now, listen, we are having a lady already knocking on our door because we gotta get out of hotel. So, what we will do is, yes, they're telling us to be out in 10 minutes. So, we have to go, but we will gladly have you back for more discussion. I certainly had even more questions for you, especially about Orban and some of the things happening there. I don't know how much freedom you have to talk about those things, but and because I saw him, your president, Hungarian president, with a Chabad organization, and he's making it very, very easy for Chabad. So if you could do some research on that for me, and we could have a discussion, that would be good. But anyway, I want to thank you for being here, for telling your story.
Yeah, I think they are pro-Israel, yeah.
I know.
I think that Israel, and then that says it all.
Mm-hmm.
But they are this Chabad, they are with the governments everywhere, in US, in everywhere.
Yes,
and
that's very true.
This is the head of a snake.
All the rest
is... Yeah. But anyway, so listen, we gotta go, seriously, and we love you. You are very brave. Thank you. And sister in Christ out of Hungary, and we are going to have you back again. And thank you so much. So go ahead.
Thank you, Sister Andrea. God bless you, and thank you guys for listening. And we'll have to get this up a little bit later today because unfortunately we do have to get checked out. So God bless y'all and have